Hi everybody and welcome back to Dusty Book Sniffers. My name's Nicole and today we are talking about book haul, and so let's get right into it. So a couple of weeks ago, on the 13th and 12th of March here in my little town where I live, they had like a little mini book fest. They called it Bookorama, and basically what that is, they collect all the library books. So our little library here will do a flush out of books that no longer are getting borrowed, or they've got slight damage, or they're just no longer relevant to, like, they're moving, just want to move them on. And so sometimes you can buy these books in the library, they'll have them there for a couple of bucks, sometimes they'll have them for free and all that sort of stuff. So I like to sort of have a bit of a look around and see what's going on. Well, back in the middle of March, they had what they call a Bookorama, and one of the local schools here also had some books come in from, like, our local St. Vinny's, and also from the parents that were cleaning off their bookshelves, and also the library, and they put on this little mini book fest here in our local town at our town hall. It was absolutely fabulous. The best part about it, it's the first one in years that I've been to since the whole COVID thing, and also one that I have been to without my children, because it is so frustrating trying to go to a book fest where you're combing through hundreds if not thousands of books, and that's the real big one that we have in Brisbane in Queensland. And basically it was great. I was able to get in there and I was able to just go through it and go row by row and check the books, and sometimes I went up the row a couple of times. I tried to film, but here in my small town, they're very strange about you filming. I think they all work for a spy agency, maybe, I don't know, but anyway, no one likes you filming. So a lot of the time I've got ideas even for my other channel to go and do a film out and about, and we almost have to be like secret squirrel about it, which is terrible. It doesn't make for a good video. But anyway, I didn't end up filming it. I would have liked to. I wasn't allowed to take pictures. There were a lot of children around because it was a PNC thing, and I didn't get upset or anything like that. It is what it is. I'm so used to it that in my small town they just really struggle with it. But I spent a total of $62 on books, and you wait till you see what I got. And a lot of them are trying to fit in with what my plans are for this year. So there are a lot of memoirs here because I want to at least try and read one memoir a month, because it is a genre that I'm lacking in, and I'd like to learn a little bit more about different people from different cultures and all that sort of stuff. So I've got a big pile here right beside me, just off camera. I got some that you may know. A lot of these are a lot older books. Some of you may know, though, that are recent releases and whatnot. And some I've just grabbed because I've watched a show and I've enjoyed the show, and I thought, well, that author, you know, has been put into a show on Netflix or on normal TV, and I thought, well, that'd be a great way to read some more of their stuff, and I spotted it, so I grabbed them. All right, so in no particular, actually I will start in a particular order. You can just see over my shoulder here. I don't need to tell you what they're about. They are the Twilight series. I got the entire series and the books were $1 each. Okay, they are in really good condition. Okay, sorry, $2 each these were. The green stickers are $2. They're in really good condition. They've obviously been sitting on someone's bookshelf for a while. The spine is broken, but not too bad. Like, you can barely see that on camera. But I got the entire collection except for Midnight Sun. That was already on my list. And the reason I got this is because I never bought this when it came out, although I did read it when it came out, as they came out. Well, I think they were all out when I finally did decide. I'll just leave that there because that's going to be too hard. When I finally decided to get to read them, they were all out. And I read them over in a long weekend. So we had, I think it was the Easter weekend of, I was still living out at Geelong, so it must have been 2010, somewhere around that mark, maybe 2009. I borrowed them off a friend and I read the whole lot. So I wanted to have them on my shelf because I had Midnight Sun, which I just bought recently, and read that. I wasn't too fussed on it. I think it had sort of done its thing, but I wanted to have them on the shelf. So if my 15-year-old wants to read them, she can just access them. All right, so that was the first score. They were $2 each. So for the entire collection, $8. All right, now green. Now I will say you'll see green stickers on there. You'll see yellow stickers on there, and I think there is orange stickers as well. So most of these books were either $3 or $2 that I've got here. All right, the first one, and this is like, this one doesn't even look like it's been read, and that is Madeline Miller's The Song of Achilles. I have Circe on my to be read list for the next 3 months, so I want to read this first. So I was super excited when I got that. I mean, $2, and it's like brand new, as you can see. That's why I love these book fests. They're just absolutely phenomenal. I don't really know much about it, what it's about. My daughter did recommend it to me. Yeah, I'm looking forward to reading that. As I said, I've got Circe, and this was a recommendation by my daughter to read. So I thought, well, better than paying $16 for it, because that's how much it was down at my local store. I got it for $2, so I grabbed it straight away, and another person went to get it at the same time, but my hand hit it first, so I got it. So I was happy about that. Another author that I've wanted to read and has been recommended to me quite a bit is Jane Harper. So we've got The Dry, and we've also got Force of Nature. Now, Force of Nature, I actually do have this on audiobook. So what I sometimes do, if I'm feeling a bit tired and but I still want to read, and I don't really want to strain my eyes too much, I'll actually listen to the audiobook while reading along, and I like that. It's like having someone read to me. And so yeah, so these I believe are mysteries. Lost, Cold, Desperate, and Danger Runs Deep is the little blurb on the front. 5 women reluctantly pick up their backpacks and start walking alone along a muddy track, and only 4 come out the other side. So it's a mystery, and that's the Force of Nature. And The Dry, it hasn't rained in Kirawara for 2 years. Tensions in the farming community become unbearable when 3 members of the Hadler family are discovered shot to death on their property. Everyone assumes that Luke Hadler committed suicide after slaughtering his wife and 6-year-old son. So that sounds like a good read. So I thought, I'll take that. There wasn't too many of her books there, but I was pretty happy to get them. And because I had The Dry in my hand, this lovely lady, she would have been in her 70s easily, she goes, oh, you'll enjoy this one. And she gave me the Force of Nature one. So I was pretty happy about that. The other books that I got while I was there as well was some Alice Hoffman books. Now, for those that don't know who Alice Hoffman is, she wrote Practical Magic. Now, most people have seen that movie, but she wrote the book back in 1995, I think it came out, 95, 96, and she's just recently brought out a prequel to that, explaining the back story of the sisters, ancestors, and stuff like that. I'm currently reading that at the moment, and also I wanted to add a few more of her books to my collection. So one that I got was Skylight Confessions. I don't really know what these are about. I liked Practical Magic, and now I sort of have the room where I can build on my collection. The other one is The Story Sisters, and this is an ex-library book, and it's a hardcover as well, and I got this one for $3. And then I also got Here on Earth, and this one was $3 as well, an ex-library book. The library books tend to be a little bit more expensive than the donated ones. So this one here, this one is March Murray returns with her teenage daughter to a small town where she grew up for a funeral and finds herself being drawn back into the life that she thought was over. Hollis, the boy she loved, the man she can't seem to stay away, was adopted as a wild young boy by March's father and has been waiting for 20 years for her return. So it sounds like a little bit of a romance. This one, The Story Sisters, always dazzling, bewitching weave of psychology, astute fantasy, and shattering realism. This is an entrancing and romantic drama shot through with radiant beauty and belief in human resilience and transformation. Donna Seaman, book list, starred review. So that's that one. And this one, on the night that Arilyn Singer's father dies, she is certain her destiny will find her. Some hours later, a young man shows up at her door. Lost in a strange town, John Moody is an architectural student, serious, reserved, and deliberate. And he has no inkling that the tall red-haired girl who he has asked for directions will haunt him for the rest of his life. So, yeah, interesting. All right, so that's that one. All right, now we're going to move on to the memoirs. These ones I purely picked up by the cover and or the blurb. All right, so this one is Charged with Emotion, a vivid portrait of human capacity for meanness, malice, and love. And it's called Falling Leaves. It's a memoir. It's Adeline Yanmar's childhood in China during the Civil War. Okay, so that's that one. I do like some of those survival of civil wars or war sort of books as well. Okay, this one here is called Sunday Best. Imagine you grew up in a strict Baptist home where cooking on Sunday was forbidden and where women were considered to have no future. Interesting. Grabbed me straight away. This one here, I've been reading, and I'll do a monthly wrap up next week. Basically, I have really started to get into reading about survival stories or escapes from World War II, and the French Resistance and stuff like that. It sort of intrigues me a little bit, and that's why I've sort of been gravitating towards these books. So this one is called Resistance, and it's by Angus Humbert, I think it is. And it is a vivid and terrifying account of the early days of French resistance in the Nazi regime, and an all rare glimpse into the appalling lot of its slave workers. Angus Humbert is an exceptional woman who somehow retains her wry sense of humour throughout. So I've been trying to get like a lot of women's point of views. There's a lot of books out there that men have written and all the rest of it, and there's nothing wrong with those books. I just wanted to get some a lot of women's point of views and stuff like that. And again, this one was $3. Again, it was a library book and it's a hardcover, so I'm looking forward to reading these. As I said, I'm going to be reading a lot of these memoirs, at least one a month. I want to. This one is The Real Story: The Woman Who Defied Hitler, Sophie Scholl. Pretty much the title says it all, so that'll be a nice interesting read. Had the word defy in it, so I was all for it. Bertie, May and Mrs. Fish. It's called Utterly Enchanting, quite unputdownable. It is country memoirs of wartime. A captivating account of her early years on the Codswold Hill Farm, that's a mouthful, set against the backdrop of the Second World War. So these all sort of have that sort of, that's what I've been gravitating towards. I don't know, I want to read about that. Like, I don't know why, but it's just what's come up. This one I really could not, I couldn't go past this one. So this is Breaking the Spell, Life as a Rajenshi, and I think that's how you pronounce it, and the Long Journey Back to Freedom. So this one, that's the cover. This one was a $3 one. This originally sold for $34. Okay, I love secondhand books. It's just great. This is by Jane Stork, and basically growing up in post-war Western Australia and embarking on a familiar path of marriage, raising children, Jane Stokes' semblance of normal life began to unravel as she entered her 30s. She sought answers at meditation centre and quickly became devoted to the Indian guru Bhagwan Sri Rajesh, changing her name and adopting orange robes. But I remember back in the 80s there was a lot of talk about the Bhagwan. They used to call them the orange people and stuff like that. So yeah, anyway, it was a derogatory term that people used to use. So I seen this and I thought, you know what, I'm going to read that. That seems like that's probably going to be my first or second one that I'll pick up, and I'm looking forward to reading about that. And I think with the memoirs, I'm just going to read them chapter by chapter so I can sort of ponder what they've written and stuff like that as well. All right, this is going to be a bit of a lengthy video because there's a few here. This one here, I purely picked up because of the title. It's called God's Call Girl, okay, and it is one woman's life journey from convent to sex worker. I'm like, okay. That's not a sentence that you see very often. So as a child, Carla, which is the lady that wrote this, experienced trauma that changed her forever. Burdened with the weight of the terrible secret, all she wanted to do was survive. Life as a nun promised the refuge from the outside world. And then it just goes on to say how, yeah, her life within the convent walls and all the rest of it. So that was that one. And then she also wrote this one, which is Desire, Awakening God's Woman. It's by the same author, so this is a memoir as well. It's called Desire. So yeah, after it just has a blurb about this book here, and how she settled back into the quiet life as a housekeeper, celibate for 12 years. She was unprepared for the reappearance of a past love. So those two seem really... I will probably read these back to back because they're by the same author and it's probably her life continuing on. All right, so that is all of the memoirs that I got. So quite a few, and most of them were $3. So that was really good. They had like 4 or 5 tables that had memoirs and all that sort of stuff. There was a lot of sports ones and all that. And I'm not really, unless I know, like I'm interested in that person, I probably would never pick up a sports one. But those ones there about women and especially those last two, like that, you could not go past that. All right, this book here I picked up purely because of the cover. I just thought it was absolutely amazing. It's called The Book of M. What Would You Give Up to Remember? And it's by Peng Shepherd, and it is set in India. And it's a little bit of the blurb here. It is in the middle of a market in India, a man's shadow disappears. As rolling 24 hours news coverage tries to explain the event, more cases are discovered. The phenomenon spreads like the plague as people learn the true cost of their lost part. It's their memories. So yeah, so I am looking forward to reading that. I just loved it. I thought it was great. The Book of M. And it's just like, the artwork is just beautiful. So yeah, again, another library book. This one was only $2 though. This one is The Witch of Cologne, and it's by... Not even going to try and pronounce it. I'll leave that up to you. I'm not great with names just from the get-go. If you're new here, I struggle reading out loud. I start to stutter, and I'm terrible with pronunciation of names. I've seen this one, and I picked it up. Like, I looked at it. The cover didn't really do it for me. The little blurb, rich in colour, sex, danger and intrigue. The Witch of Cologne sort of grabbed me to the title, and it's an epic love story set against the vivid backdrop of the 17th century Europe. And I like that sort of stuff. So yeah, I grabbed that. This one here, I had this on my bookshelf and I never got around to reading it. And as I said, I've lost a lot of books over the years through mouse plagues and floods and stuff. And I never got around to reading it. And when I was seeing this, I thought I'll grab this because I really wanted to read it the first time. So it's called The Burning Times. It's a sweeping historical epic and powerful romantic drama set in medieval France amid plague war in the times of the witchcraft inquisition. So I thought that I really like that sort of stuff. So that was up my alley. Grab that. $2, can't go wrong. And then last year I read The Midnight Library by Matt Haig, and it was the first time I read anything by Matt Haig. Now, I only gave that book 3 stars, but I did like his style of writing, and I did like how he drew me into, like he pulled me into that story. I was probably a little bit harsh on my star rating. It probably could have been a 3.5, maybe 4, because it really did pull me in and all the rest of it. So I've been keeping an eye out in secondhand bookshops and stuff like that for more of his titles. And How to Stop Time, I found that. It's like, it was $1 at Vinnie's, and it was $3 at this one. But I mean, they were raising funds for the school. So yeah, I thought it's got absolute terrific triumph, fabulous book, and the blurb sort of caught me, and I thought, you know what, I'll give it a read. Even if I don't finish it, doesn't matter, I gave it a read. And what I do after I read these books, these generally won't stay on my bookshelf unless I absolutely adore it. If I don't adore it, it will get donated back to Vinnie's so they can put it back into the book fest. The other collection that I want to get, and I'm actually collecting these for Mia, my granddaughter, is the Percy Jackson books. So I got one from Savannah that she didn't want anymore, and then I got, so that is the Lightning Thief, so she gave me that when I come home with these. Oh, and look at that, I do have dollar books. These ones were $1. So we've got the Greek heroes and then the Greek gods. So I will slowly collect them for her. And I mean, most people know what Percy Jackson's about. All right, the other one I spotted, this is by Gillian Finn, and it's called Gone Girl. And I read last year, Paula Hawkins' Girl on Train, and basically they said, if you like this, you'll like that. And so yeah, so I thought, well, I've read that one, and I've seen a few, books just went everywhere. I've seen a few mixed reviews on this one. You either hate it or you love it on that. So yeah, I'm looking forward to, I actually don't know anything about this book. Apparently it's a movie as well. Like, I don't watch much TV, but yeah. So Gone Girl, got that. The other one I got was, I've been wanting to read this forever and a day, and I just have never got around to it. Memoirs of a Geisha, which is also a movie, and you can see they had it as $1 and then they changed it to $3. It's like, it's been read, but it is in really good condition. None of these books are annotated or anything like that either, so that's really good. Now, a couple of weeks ago, when was it? It must have been middle of February. I was sitting down doing some binding. For those that don't know, I actually do quilting for a living. So my day job is basically sewing and quilting for people. So I have a big long arm machine, which is behind the camera here. And so sometimes I get to sit down and watch TV while working, and or I listen to a book. But most times during the day, if it's only a small project, I'll just do some binding. And I got hooked into Pieces of Her, and it is based on a book by Karen Slaughter. And I've never heard of this author before, and that show just sucked me in. It's I believe it's just like a limited series, so there's only one season of it, and it's just the whole book. So I actually come across two of her books while I was there. One was called The Good Daughter, and I really like the show and the premise behind it. So I'm guessing that hers are a little bit mystery thriller type, and the other one is Blindsided. So Blindsided is a sleepy town of Hartsdale, Georgia, is jolted into panic when Sarah Linton, pediatrician and medical examiner, finds Sybil Adams dead at a local diner. And then it just follows on from there. And this one here, The Good Daughter, 28 years ago, Charlotte and Samantha Quinn's happy small town family life was torn apart by a terrifying attack on their home. It left their mother dead. It left their father, Pikesville notorious defense attorney, devastated. I think that's how you pronounce it, Pikesville, and left the family fractured beyond repair. So that sounds like a good one. So yeah, I thought grab those, super cheap. Why not? Then the next one that I got, I just recently come across started reading Sarah Waters. I've never read anything of hers before, and the first book that I read of hers was Fingersmith, and I'm going to be doing a video on that shortly. I absolutely love her writing. It was really easy to read, but it drew me, like sometimes with those really easy to read books, sometimes they don't draw you in as much as you would like them to, but that book just drew me in. So I wanted to get some more of hers, and I got this one is The Paying Guest, and it is set in 1922. And ex-servicemen are disillusioned, out of work, and determined to change. In a genteel house in the south of the city, its inhabitants still recovering from the devastation loss of the First World War, life is about to be transformed. So it seemed like I just sort of read the first paragraph because it's quite a lengthy blurb on the back, but I thought that's interesting, and it's sort of from that that era that I'm reading at the moment as well, like around the wars and stuff like that, because I've got a couple other books that are around the First World War as well. And lastly, I could not pass this up. This is like brand new. It hasn't been, like, I don't think this has been read at all because there's not any real marks on it. It's got a bit of a dog ear from it being at the event. This was $2 I got this for, and it's A Little Life by Hanya Yanagiara. I'm terrible with names. You'll have to excuse me. But I have been wanting to read this for the last couple of months, and my daughter actually has it on her bookshelf. And because she's in exams and all that sort of stuff, it's driving me mental that I can't, like, she's not finished it and she won't let me read it until she's finished it. So I seen this and I got it for a couple of bucks, and I'm like, don't worry about it. You can take your time now. I've got it. So I have this on my bingo card for the next 3 months. So I don't know when I'm going to be reading this, but I know it will be read in the next 3 months. But I've got plenty of other books to keep me company until this rolls around. It is quite of a stonker of a book. I think it's got like 700 odd pages in it. Yeah, over 700 pages in it. And yeah, like, everybody's talked about this. Apparently, I've heard some very detailed discussions about this book that I've had to walk away from because my daughter's been reading it, and then she starts talking, like it does a group video chat with her friends, and they're talking about it, and you know, just different things of the book, and I've heard it get quite heated, and then quite, like, not heated as they're arguing, just angry at the premise in the book and all the rest of it. And a couple times she's come out and I'm like, just breathe. But I am looking forward to reading this one as well. But that is all of my book haul, and all those books cost me $62. I spent a lovely day there. I was there for about 4 or 5 hours. There was tables set up everywhere, and I pretty much went through all of the books. I did get a couple of craft magazines and stuff like that, but they're just little magazines that have got patterns in them. Can't really show you those because of copyright and stuff like that. But I'm super excited to get through these. And as I said at the beginning of the video, what I tend to do is anything that I really enjoy and want to keep on my book, like it earns a spot on my bookshelf, that's generally a 5-star read. 4 or 5-star read will earn a spot on my bookshelf. The rest will get donated back to St. Minnie's, and then so all the money that they earn from Bookfest and all that sort of stuff goes to the charities, goes to help people and stuff like that. So I just keep the cycle going, and a lot of the time I'll donate them back, and then I'll go and spend however much more there, find some more books, read them, send them back again, and they just keep going in the cycle. And that way people get, it's like a double. I get to read it and someone else gets some help from the local charities. But that's it from me today. Thank you so much for joining me. As I said, it was going to be a long video. If you are new here, hit that subscribe button and the little bell icon beside it. That way you won't miss out on any of my bookish uploads. And if you've lasted this long, leave me a book emoji down in the comments as well, and give us a thumbs up, and tell me where you're watching from as well. I'd like to see how far my videos are going. I am off to do some more reading and finish up a book for today. I'm almost finished. I think I've got about 30 pages left, so I want to get that done. A little bit of quilt binding and some errands, but that's it from me today. Have a great day, everybody, and I'll see you all again next time. Bye for now.